Prototype still has quite a few left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 vehicles to rotate in before prototype.
Line up behind the pace car.
I like the Daytona Prototype. It's one of my more favorite cars on this tire model.
Line up behind the pace car. But you can start working those tires in if you like.
Nice thing about the prototypes though is they have a tendency to stick around when they do come in.
Because they're easy to drive.
Green flag. Pace cars down, be ready. The road is open.
My pace car's still saying my spotter's still saying pace car's driving off. Ready, ready. Green flag's already gone.
Is everybody in teamspeak?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know if Michael was or not.
Yeah, he just jumped in here just at the tail end before grid. Whee! Yeah, I can definitely tell when my pedal's not giving me 100% down the straight and I'm losing you.
Yeah.
I messaged Empty Box and I kind of expected it, but I didn't get a response to try to come in here.
Kind of out of nowhere when Rutgers Kev actually sent me an invite to his invitational last time he had one. Out of absolutely nowhere he said, I want you in my race. Okay, why? That's where I met Rudy and that's where the broadcasting started, but kind of funny that he wanted me in his race, but then he only does one race, crashes out, and then we never see him again for our league. Never actually heard from him again since either.
On your left. Clear.
Instead of going on my road trip through the mountains, I could have got myself a new set of pedals.
Baby, air it out, looking good.
That would have probably been more bang for my buck.
The trip you'll probably remember forever, though.
Well, my boy will, but
Yeah, I guess that's what
I've
I
had
meant.
many of them. First major road trip with just us, and he gets to play in a waterfall. Yeah, I think he'll remember it for quite some time. He didn't care that the water was straight out of the ice from the glaciers. The fact that he got to play in a waterfall was all he cared about.
You're clear him.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yep. At least we're all in vehicles with headlights.
That is
Yeah.
a bonus.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Expecting to see a couple of F1s out here.
That was close. I about accidentally hit you.
One on the right side. Clear?
My tires caught the grass and it about shot right into your door.
Oh. Well, as a bonus, the BMWs and the Miatas are fairly resilient, so it probably wouldn't have been a race ender, whereas hitting a curb can be a race ender for an F1.
I don't know. That would have been a pretty hard hit. I got almost 90 degrees on you. It felt like anyway.
I didn't even see a swerve in mine, so.
Oh.
You'll probably enjoy it, Mr. Breen. Although I keep on derailing my train on one scenario. At least if you bought it now, Mr. Breen, you probably got it for less than what I did. They have a nice Steam sale right now.
Is not a spot. Is not a spot.
Oh, overshot that. First incident.
Oh, I did the same thing you did.
There's also something screwy with the pit lane in this one where it doesn't give you the right relative information on people as you're coming out. It'll say they're 20 seconds out, so you start heading out, and all of a sudden there'll be a second out.
Evil.
Noise, you're on the way.
I guess I didn't even look to see where pit entrance was. I'm gonna drive right past it every time, I think.
Probably. Mind you, once you find it the first time, it's fairly easy to find it after that. Finding it that first time in the dark.
Yeah, I just kind of remember that it's halfway along that front stretch. Just look for the opening on the wall.
Yeah, you just drove
I
past
just
it.
seen it as I went by.
But you do get other sorts on there.
I saw the yellow cone.
Yeah.
Not so fun in the vehicle with no headlights, though.
Oh, probably not.
Yes, I am, Perseus.
Ah, I need to turn. Son of a bitch. No, I'm gonna find that pit lane sooner than I thought.
Uh oh.
Ah.
That's not sounding promising.
My hood is now 6 feet tall and I can't see around it.
Oh no.
Ouch. Awesome. The wheel damage and Michael, we got one of my streamer or viewers here watching all three of us.
Cool.
Nice.
Now that gives you a real good 360 view of the race.
Yeah.
Different perspectives, that's great.
Oh, there's my pit box.
Yeah, that's almost harder to find than the pit lane entrance itself, is where the heck are you supposed to stop?
Noise are coming.
Especially
Yeah.
if you have a dark color on you, the suit for your driver.
Yeah, mine are black.
Yep, so are mine.
Black with green, with a green belt. That's about all I got.
Oh,
Left
oh,
side.
there we go.
Sorry.
Coming. Clear all around.
No problem, I was starting to get squirrely. I was hoping I wouldn't spin. It all worked out.
Alright, now my hood's only 3 feet tall. Okay.
Went in for requireds, or?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't required. It wasn't telling me to pit, but I couldn't see over my hood. It had to get beat down a little bit.
Yeah.
I messed up and I was playing with my ABS settings and it just let me keep rolling.
That's what I find with the ABS. It kind of is a mixed bag. On tarmac, it somewhat helps, but as soon as you get off the tarmac, it just releases the brakes all the time.
In 4.
Of course, the grass model in this is probably slipperier than wet ice.
Well, that's like, I've been racing the Cadillac lately, and I've never locked up I never locked up the front tires as much as I do now with the anti-lock brakes.
Yeah. Most of the time, anytime I get into a vehicle that has anti-lock brakes, I disable it the first thing I do and then drive without it.
Well, the global challenge with the Cadillac is fixed.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, what they did with that is they moved the brake bias front more and then added the ABS,
yeah.
what it was before. And the poor Kia just gets eaten alive in that series because it has negative toe on the back, positive toe on the rear, and the brake bias is set almost all the way back. So you look at the brakes and it tries spinning out. You try going straight down a straight and it's wobbling all over because there's no stability.
Yeah, I don't know who does the setups for those fixed series, but they usually aren't very good.
roll. Oh yeah, Perseus, I know it is slick on grass anytime you hit it, especially driving racing slicks, but it's a little bit exaggerated on some courses in iRacing, like Virginia International, for example.
Oh yeah.
You can hit the grass at 20 kilometers per hour and glide across the entire length of the track, and you'll still be doing 20 kilometers per hour.
Yep.
It's almost as if you pick up speed on the grass.
I really wish the Cadillac was still in here.
Yeah, I was sad to see it go.
Right side.
There's a lot of good drivers in the Cadillac series that was looking for a league to race it in because they hate the fixed setup.
Oh yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I was surprised that it barely got used when it was in. That's the only reason why it left, is because nobody was using it. It was averaging maybe 2 people a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Breen, you got it. Multi-twitch is a beautiful thing.
Whoa. There we go.
It's now. My 0 incident last night will hopefully offset this one. Especially if I keep on trying to two-wheel it around that corner. Now the Miata has a motor about the same size as one, but it is not a motorbike. Driving on 2 wheels is not the safest thing to do.
He knows you're coming. Right side. Clear all around.
Whoa.
What the
There we go.
deuce? Yeah, even on the actual track portion, when you get anywhere between the pit entrance and pit exit, it really screws around with the relatives. Got a blue flag for you, Robbie, and you're 15 seconds away.
I don't know. I think iRacing is kind of messed up right now because last 2 nights ago I was doing a qualifying session getting blue flags and I was the first guy in the lobby.
It'll give you a blue flag if you don't have the fastest time, though.
I was number 1 in my qualifying session.
Oh.
And I was
iRacing is a little
wondering I don't
bugged.
know why I was getting the blue flag.
I'll wholeheartedly admit that the Miata has a weed whacker for a motor, but it's a fun little weed whacker. At least the Roadster version. I hate the Cup version. Rid of this nagging cough.
Good job, man. Don't change your line. They're gonna move. Right side, clear.
Michael, when you and Darren catch up to me, just let me know. Okay.
I had such an annoying cough lately that I'd almost traded for a nagging girlfriend and a nagging cough. Which
I'd
in
stick with
itself
the
is
cough.
pretty bad.
Hand him through there, big girl. Roger.
I don't know, even a nagging girlfriend can do things that a nagging cough can't.
Yeah. Especially in regards to the throat.
Yeah.
Third incident. Between the Cup and Roadster version, the biggest visual difference is the fact that you're driving on opposite sides of the car. The Cup version, you're on its left-hand drive, Roadster is right-hand drive. Otherwise, the Cup has a whole lot more suspension adjustments that you can do to it, and it has a 6-speed gearbox versus the 5. The Roadster basically just has camber, toe, and tire pressures, whereas you have the full gamut of suspension adjustments on the Cup. I just find though that the Cup is a lot twitchier to drive regardless of how you have it set up. And you have to shift more with it,
Left side.
which
Thanks.
All
for
around.
me at least means you lose time.
Go left, Darren.
Thanks, Robbie.
Got commercials for all three of us, but now I'm streaming all three of us as well. And yes, I set up my multi-twitch while I was
No, you're
driving
coming.
for all three of them.
Left side. Clear all around. Earl, guide him through there, brother.
Mind you, I figure I have the bandwidth that I can easily afford it. I think the only trouble with me having the other streams up now as well is I'm trying to look at the three to see compare the differences between everybody's setups.
Too distracting.
I don't really care about where everybody is on track. I'm just looking to see where everybody has their overlays, and
It's like playing in the 64 007 again and peeking on everybody else's screen to see where they're at.
except with the lag, you can never really see where they are. Mind you, if somebody was determined enough, they could actually look at the relative for everybody and see how much lag each person has compared to each other. That overhead shot of you, though, wheel damage is pretty interesting.
Not with these shorts on, it's not.
Ah, they're bright orange. Makes a nice reflection on everything else in front of you. Mounted to the roof or something?
Near enough on the wall.
And I suppose I have my setup sitting square in the middle of the living room, so there's no walls near me to do that.
He has a lap down, right?
Small houses over here. Go right.
Left side. Clear?
Thanks, Mark.
Hey.
You're on the way.
Do you have a toggle set to change from in-car to overhead, or?
Now use voice attack.
Ah. My kid would be changing it all the time as soon as he figured out the words for it.
Yeah. Go left.
Myself, I'd probably set it to a timer because I'd forget to actually change back and forth.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. People are nagging in the chat to turn it back to the computer.
Oh, there we go.
I slowed down a bit earlier. I thought you were coming in a bit hot.
We're gonna fit 5.
Well, I seen he never got over, so I was like, oh, he must be letting me by. And then, like, oh, I got a breakdown.
Well, is that the one thing you mentioned, Rudy? I know sometimes he doesn't spend enough time showing the viewers a full lap in the cockpit of a car, and you spent the time to do that on Coda. But I know sometimes I'm watching replays and going, man, just keep it on the leader for one lap to show what a lap looks like, right?
Yeah.
For people that
He's
don't
been
know
doing
the
that a
tracks.
bit more. He's been doing that a bit more. He's been trying to... Well, I think for Coda, he tried jumping in the cockpit for a lap for at least one person for every vehicle, or every class.
Yeah, it just seems like he doesn't know the complete lap though. Like you know, for people that don't know what it's like, what we're going through, it's sure nice to see what the driver sees.
I think what he does is he jumps in, and then he just goes until they get to that point again. Instead of jumping in and then going from start to finish again.
Yeah. Well, it was just nice to see it with your commentary, though, on a lap.
Yeah. Well, I have Rudy set on a whisper, so I can talk to Rudy even though he's in the broadcast room, while still being in the main room here, too.
That's right. I just thought he might have mentioned, too, how dangerous those launchers were. That never really came up.
I forgot about that.
We didn't have
in the
an
Kia,
example.
they didn't really do anything.
No. But yeah, on the Bimmers, you put the wheel through the fender in a hurry.
Yeah. I think that's where most of the damage on the Bimmers came from. Some viewer commentary there, wheel damage. Perseus is saying that he always thought that your camera should be down and to the right a bit, so that the viewers can see more of the screens when it's the out of like the cockpit cam.
Okay, one time when you get to
Yeah, unfortunately the screens aren't good enough for you to pick any detail up with the F3 or whatever, so I decided against that.
left side. Clear.
Nice pass, Michael. Darren. I'm
Sorry,
going to swap
split
over to
there,
the right
guys. I
side here.
figured that would have worked best.
Yeah, sorry about that, Darren.
Oh, it worked out. Just didn't want to crowd you guys out.
Bring it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hit.
Hey, I can see your front rotors glowing there, Mark.
Hey!
Yeah, this not being able to get 100% of my throttle is really annoying.
What did you say, 70-something laps was halfway?
Do I still have my calculator open? I'll double check on the next straight. Somewhere around there.
I don't want to mess you up or anything. I thought you said like 79 or something.
The 70s somewhere. If the F1s were here, it was 84, and that's what I calculated against before the race, but... Uh-oh.
That's scheduled, Michael?
I forgot to fill my car up with full fuel. I only
Oh,
started
crappy.
That's why he was fast.
I couldn't even top up full. I was getting tech failure, so I was messing around with my tire pressures and stuff and my perch real quick, but I still couldn't solve it. I think I got 27 in there or something. Not enough testing at full fuel, I guess.
Also, and if you do private tests, you also have to factor in the
Good job, man. Don't change
weight
your
penalty.
line. They're gonna move.
All right. Forgot about that.
Yes, Perseus, my throttle pedal's kind of goobered. It will go up to full, but it'll jump off of full, and I've tried taking it apart, cleaning it, recalibrating, and it does nothing. It's pretty much toast. Works better than nothing, though, so... Suppose if I really wanted to give my leg a workout, I could swap the... just go two pedal, use the clutch as a brake, and the brake as a gas pedal, and ignore that one pedal, but then I wouldn't have the clutch, and that brake pedal has a heavy-duty spring in comparison.
I was gonna say that'd be rough.
But I can just swap the spring out. That's easy enough.
Come out of the way, Earl.
I could put the spring from the gas pedal into the brake pedal and then just use that one instead.
One off court.
See, my feet are too big. I have to use the clutch as the
Uh-oh.
brake, because otherwise I double push pedals.
Yeah, if you watch on the straight, especially going through those under the two bridges there, Chrysius, on my pedal graph that's just above my actual foot pedal cam, you'll see that the throttle never actually stays at 100%. Oh, I'm gonna stay into the left here. No.
I haven't opened up my G27, Michelle, but can't you just take that whole unit of the clutch, the whole potentiometer and whatever else, and just swap it with the gas and have that missing part on your clutch, like the not full?
I'd have to resolder if I wanted to do that.
I've never looked to see how easy they are.
Andrew, that being said, I don't know, I'll have to look at it again. I might be able to just swap the hardware, like the whole unit itself inside.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'd have to swap the pedal plates around, but that's simple enough. You have to just take the pedal plates off to be able to take it apart in the first place. I never need to clutch at 100%, so...
Yeah. Give you a little more life out of it.
That might be a project for this week. And that being said, this is also the first year I haven't had an air conditioner, so I've had to have all the windows open all the time. And there's a lot more dust and crap coming in. Is probably the cause of the persistent cough.
Yeah, that's it too.
Especially in Alberta being so dry. Even lately when it's been raining here, it's only been getting to about 30-35% humidity inside the apartment. Got a call, Robbie? Ugh. That was... I never even thought of just swapping those because they have about the same spring tension anyways. That being said, I can just swap the spring mechanisms. I actually considered moving the spring around from the brake into the gas pedal anyways because I found the gas pedal is just too light on the G27.
Right.
But then I figured, no, I'd be stomping on the brakes too much because the brake pedal is light too, so... Then I figured if I just swap or stick one of my kids' Nerf gun balls in there to give that a little bit more resistance, it might help too. About the same size. Wow. I have no idea where I was driving there.
I thought you were going a little bit too wide there.
Doing a little dirt track in there, Michelle?
Yeah, instead of turning, I just went straight. Yeah, Perseus, I've tried short calibrating on that end, on the full end, but as soon as you go to full throttle, it retakes that reading. I've recalibrated my pedal even at 50% of the throttle throw, and as soon as I go full throttle with the pedal once, then it recalibrates it for that as full. Kind of a shame that it does that, because it would, at least for when it was applying automatically, and I'd short calibrate it with a bit of extra throttle put in, it would work perfectly fine. But short calibrating it the other way hasn't seemed to work. All 4 incidents. Can't complain. I do, however, have enough dirt bits and tire bits on my windshield that I can notice it even at night. Uh-oh. Did I just see you disappear off the screen there, Robbie?
Hopefully he didn't have a power outage.
Yeah.
Didn't show a thing showing him leaving though, right?
No, not in the sim. I just saw him go off track. Mind you, he did get a call, too, so... wondering if that might have something to do with it, and he might be just jumping off track while he's on the call.
Gotta be quick work with these guys, Earl. I got him, man. I told them. They're hollering at him.
I'll stay wide here, Michael.
Left side. Clear.
Thanks.
Bust this traffic, Earl. Good job, man.
Stay on the inside.
Thanks for shot.
Yeah, Perseus, I've found a lot of the pedal sets seem to have really weak gas pedal and spring sets unless you go into the really expensive pedal sets. It's nice though that there's a lot of kits that you can throw into, like there's a lot of kits out there for the G27 and that to make better brakes, better spring sets, and even change over to full
Thanks, Mark.
load cells for the brakes and such as well.
Michelle, let me know if you think you do need to replace the potentiometers, because I've got a G25 pedal set in my attic doing nothing, and I can send you whatever you need from the potentiometers. That's in the jiffy bag.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if there's anything wrong with it. It might just be I need to clean it again because of so much dust accumulating right now. I'm not used to having the windows open. Like for the last 4 years, I've been pretty much in a sealed environment. No windows open year-round. But these windows didn't support the purifiers and all that, so there was no way to mount them. And it just makes it too hot to not have them open. Like even with the fans going and the windows open, it's still like 26, 27 in my apartment right now. I think this morning I had all the windows open all night, and when I woke up this morning it was 24. It hadn't even gotten warm out yet. Also doesn't help that summer is a season of mowing lawns, and I'm allergic to grass and dust pollen.
Leader, pit road.
Robbie even muted himself in teamspeak, so it might be something to do with that phone call. He's normally pretty speedy about noticing if somebody's disconnected. Or lost connection, I should say. I just noticed I'm the only one out of us three that have a pedal cam.
Earl, weed up through there. Joe.
Not exactly sure what gave me the idea to put a camera facing my feet. A lot of people that jumped into the stream have liked it.
Yeah?
On your right.
I have a paddle cam. Can you not see it? It's in the lower right.
Sorry, Darren started wandering there on you.
I say the lights just went out.
Did I blink?
I don't know, all of a sudden I had no headlights behind me. I wonder where you went. Almost like you just hit the light switch, so maybe you did blink. I didn't see you blink in the relative, but your headlights definitely disappeared.
Not noticing any fluctuations on my neck, so... It's actually weird. While I was in the Iditarod race last night, I was still doing that upload to YouTube, and I didn't want to cancel it, so it had already been running for 8 hours or so. And I had a lot of people mention that my connection seemed a lot more stable for the stream when I had more things uploading and downloading at the same time than when it's just free to do its own thing.
Huh.
I've also noticed that, like right now, I have all 3 streams going, and my lag meter has been the exact same, like, little bit of a green that it's the entire race, whereas when I had just my stream going, it was fluctuating a bit more, so... Maybe for some reason, because of how much bandwidth I have available, if I'm not using a certain percentage of it, it makes it a little bit unstable. Like, I honestly don't remember the last time I've seen my lag meter this still.
Did they do anything to figure out anything more with your packet loss?
They sent one of the lead techs for Shaw over here to figure out what was going on, and he just said, you know what, let's cut right to the chase. I'm not going to bother doing any tests on the lines. I'm just going to change out every single line.
Oh, nice.
There's no point wasting time searching for anything and then finding out that maybe this one's good, this one might be good, and he just replaced all of the connectors, all of the lines throughout the entire apartment. So
You might have given some of your other tenants some better connections.
he did it just within my apartment, right from the line coming to my apartment and then all of the rooms, because for some reason they have every single room wired for both phone and cable
Oh.
in this apartment, and I just missed that turn completely. Watch out, Michael, I'm getting back on track in front of me here.
He's moving, he's moving. That's it,
There we
man.
go.
Get up to his bumper. Now move.
I'll stick to the left.
Thanks.
Didn't get in an incident for that one, but definitely was off course. I'll stay right here.
Got it. Yep.
Mind you, I suppose even if everybody that's streaming right now is streaming at the maximum bit rate that Twitch prefers, which is 3300 kilobit per second, that would only be using about 10 megabit per second out of my 250 download, so. I got a bit to spare. Keeping my upload with the little bit that teamspeak uses and the little bit that iRacing uses tied in with my upstream, I'm probably only using a third of my upstream bandwidth. My spotter's trying to convince me that you'll make a mistake,
Those
wheel
lappers
damage.
out of the way are over. Four.
I've made a few already.
You're out of fuel?
No, I've made a few mistakes already.
No. Hey, you had me lap there for a little bit, and then I managed to get by on one of them.
Yeah.
These night races, when you're racing in the middle of the day, kind of hard on the eyes. Especially if you don't have curtains or anything to block it out.
Alright. Thanks, Mark.
I believe it's almost noon. My kid's been sleeping for like 11 hours straight.
Oh, we're in the exact same time zone.
I missed that, Michael. What?
You and me are in the same time zone.
I guess that makes it easier for figuring out when the events happen.
Yep.
Would have been interesting if Lewis Van was awake for this one, because he was going to come in the SK Modified.
Oh, wow.
That's the only thing he's going to run this weekend. So for tonight's race, he'll expect to see the SK Modified at least once. I don't know what Layla's going to run yet. I don't think she's said yet. But I'm imagining it'll probably be the SK Modified as well. I like going for the oddball cars.
Gotta be quick working these guys, Earl. I got him, man. I told them. They're hollering at him.
Stay to the right here, Michael.
Thank you.
Stay into the inside.
Got it. Thank you.
I don't know why I could stay in third for that corner.
These lappers out of the
Whoa,
way,
whoa,
Earl.
whoa, whoa, no.
Nacho.
I'll take an off track for my rollover.
Doing some stunt driving?
On your left.
Yeah.
Clear.
Doing a little two-wheeling there again and was doing the whole weaving, wobbling on two wheels to try keeping it upright and finally hit the ditch just to flop it back on its wheels properly instead of rolling over. Hopefully the replay actually catches it this time. I think the replay that I did of Friday's practice did. That one was a cool one though on Friday's practice. Dwayne was in the F1 coming right behind me and I hit that and he just drove right under me while two tires were up in the air.
No contact?
No contact, no nothing.
Oh, nice. Is that the replay you have uploaded?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But unfortunately, I don't think it actually caught that sequence. It caught the
yeah.
aftermath, me landing on my lid, but it didn't catch him actually jetting underneath me.
You can always go back and post a few screenshots if you kept the replay.
Generally, as soon as it's made up and thrown up onto YouTube, I
Do you get
delete
rid
the
of it?
file.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of gigabytes. I think I
Oh,
have
yeah.
like 16, 18 gigabytes of replay files right now.
3/4 of them you'll probably never ever go back to. If you kept them all.
Well, I've kept every single race that hasn't been uploaded so far for this league. And now that I figured out that I can, now, especially now that I'm making that auto cam set, I can actually just set it and forget it. So set it to make the replay, go to bed, and in the morning the replay is made for me.
Yeah, that's nice.
But I think the problem I'm encountering now is with the length of the file. My compression program, which normally compresses it into a smaller format, it's just too big for. Which might be the issue that I'm having with that 5.2 hour race that I tried uploading to YouTube, is I couldn't throw it through my compression program. I have to search in my recycle bin to see if I can get that replay file back. See if I can just record it outright in a slightly different format that might be a bit more YouTube friendly. Either that or see if my recording program can make multiple splits of the video that I just combine on YouTube after.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind doing that, it's just I want to be able to get it up there without having to, well, actually get it up there. If I remember correctly, my coder program can do that. I have to look into the documentation again.
Not a spot. Right side. Clear. Good job, man. Don't change your line. They're gonna move. On your right. Clear.
Oop, that was almost too early. I'll stay to the left here.
Funny, it looked like you were swerving for an animal on the track.
I keep on forgetting it's right-hand drive, so I start wandering left,
Oh yeah.
and then go, wait a second, that's my wheel hitting the curb, and jerk back. Why on this track I've been trying to stay to the right more often. They'll catch me, Mark. Get me a lap down by the end of this, I'm sure. especially if I keep up this two-wheel antic. I think one of the only negatives to the Miata having such good fuel economy is the fact that your windshield starts getting so dirty that you almost want to pit just to clean your window.
Yeah, it's worse at night too, right?
Actually, no, I find it's not too bad at night because everything's dark. So you don't actually notice how dirty it is unless you're in full light or something. Unless you get the big blotches in the way. Mind you, if we had more traffic, it would be more noticeable too, because there'd be more headlights showing up behind me. And not just for a couple split seconds as the BMWs are flying by.
That's the way, Earl. Roger. Left side. Clear.
Hey, please tell me I'm not the only one that actually almost does a real-life shoulder check every once in a while to see if somebody's there.
I haven't yet.
I think you're the only one.
Damn. I think in the race last night I actually reached for the signal light stalk to show that I was turning.
Oh, that's being immersed in the game.
Well, it's that stupid blind right turn where the track continues straight, but you have to turn right. The one Michael just took now, and I'm about to take. It's basically like you're turning off the road onto a side road.
Yeah.
And for some reason I tried reaching for the signal stalk to signal that I was turning right.
Very unnatural corner.
There you go. You didn't get to. I didn't get to show you me. I didn't get to show you me doing a two-wheel drive thing there. I'm hoping with driving the Miata this week I might finally be able to squeak my way into alien status, but I don't know, I got a whole lot of races that weren't so great before it holding me back.
I've got 11 incidents already.
I've got 3.
I got 4.
I'm at 4. I don't feel like doing a check to... No, I think I'm at 5. Remember. Well, no, I'm at 6. That damn curb funny. Kind of ironic that I just finished saying I don't want to do a check and then I do a check.
Unscheduled incident check.
Yeah. Kind of funny, on Friday night, John Gibson 5 jumped into our session. Actually, wasn't doing too bad, but didn't hit anybody that I know of. But during the race portion, he ended up getting disqualified. And he's laughing about it until I pipe in and say, you are aware that in all of our events we have the incident disqualification set at below Rookie 3.0, so that means you are worse than what you start iRacing with? Really? Yes. iRacing Rookie 3.0 is 15 corners per incident. We have our incident disqualification set at 13 corners per incident.
And what do you have to hit in Rookie to go to the next level? 3 or 4? Like, level or whatever. Rookie 4.0? I can't remember. Or is it always 3?
Yeah. What do you start off with in iRacing? It's been so long. I started off at 3, I was pretty positive.
I think it
I think
starts.
so, and then you gotta get to 4?
I think it
But-
starts at 2.5.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that might be it. Because I think they changed it now where the Rookie to D you only have to get to 3, and then everything above that is fast track at 4.
Notice you're on the way.
I know they changed it for Rookie versus non-Rookie now because they did away with the, I think it was monthly Rookie promotions they were doing. They did away with that and they're only doing the seasonal promotions now.
Notice you're coming.
So they
I know
lowered.
my B to A is 3.0 because I was up in A and then dropped back. I think I'm at a 265 or something.
Yeah, but that's a demotion and that's at 3.
True.
Right side.
You have to
Clear.
maintain the 3, I believe, to maintain that license level or else you get dropped. At the promotion period, but... That's you, wheel damage.
Yep.
Thought you were another BMW, so I was gonna pull over to the side and let you by.
I'll take that as a compliment.
That, however, is a BMW. I should remember, the BMWs have
Thanks,
6
guys.
headlights. Miatas only have 2. Funny that the Miatas actually have better headlights in the dark than the Kias. Yeah, I just couldn't keep the straight line speed with you.
Andy went into first there after the corner.
I've decided that I'm not going to be dealing with KFC anymore. Last Thursday I ordered in for delivery, and it took 2.5 hours for it to get to me. They didn't even bill it out until 2 hours after I ordered it. And what did they decide to give me as compensation for being so late? $3 off.
Wow, should have been free. Was it cold?
No, because they didn't even bill it out and start making it until
Oh.
2 hours after I had ordered it.
And what
Which
did
was
they
an
tell you
hour.
the delivery would be?
An hour before they billed it out. I ordered it at 8:07. The confirmation was there, and expected delivery time was supposed to be 8:57. They didn't bill it out until 9:54. And then they didn't get to my house until 10:23 or something like that.
That's a late dinner.
3 calls to the main call center to figure out what was going on. And then they just want to give me $3 off and 2 $10 off coupons for next time I visit.
One on the right.
Okay, I got the 2 $10 off coupons. I figure, you know what, my grandma's here for yesterday and she's gonna stick around for the race. Maybe we'll get KFC, but we'll pick it up this time because it's only like a dozen blocks away from me. Just a pain in the ass to get the kid thrown into the car and such for just to grab food. But we go there, order, pick up, bring it back home, and the order's wrong.
I hate that.
So I call them and say that they got the order wrong. And they're like, well, we can give you
Left side.
free waffle fries for your next visit. I'm not going to be visiting again. What? I am not going to your establishment ever again. This is, in 3 days, you guys have royally screwed up my order. Why would I want to come back? So I ended up making them bring me a whole brand new order for free, and the delivery driver had to bring it to me. And I'm still not going back. I got a bunch of chicken that I can eat whenever I'm hungry now. Or I hurt my kid, but I didn't, apparently.
So let me get this right. You can phone up KFC and they deliver it. It's like
Yes.
a different world over there.
You can do that with anything, basically.
We have places here where you can phone them up and they'll pick up your groceries and deliver it.
Yeah, but
That's
they've
how
got that.
moving-
They've had that for years in England. Pay a little bit more, but we're modeling our service. I work for Save On Foods, Michelle, which you probably know of, and we are modeling ours after the guys in England there for home delivery. We're starting that this year.
That'd be awesome. Too bad Save On Foods is more expensive.
Yeah, are you comparing to like RCSS or Co-op?
Walmart.
Walmart. Yeah, but they don't always have everything you need. At least the ones here are pretty crappy for keeping their store stocked and having knowledgeable staff.
Well, I don't go to Walmart for knowledgeable staff. That's
No.
hands down. I don't even bother talking to the staff there. They're all ants.
But you're not going to get into a war with Walmart. Nobody's going to beat them. Too large.
Well, I went and bought the exact same thing, not the exact same brands, but I bought the store brands of everything 1 week at Save On, and then I bought essentially the exact same quantities of the store brands from Walmart, and my bill or my receipt afterwards from Walmart was a third of what it was at Save On.
Wow.
And that's just for basic necessities like my kids' weekly lunches, and actually it's not even name brand for, or it's not even store brand for that, it's even the name brand, like the Lunchmate kits that they make for kids' lunches and stuff that are all nut and dairy free and certified to go in daycares and stuff.
Yeah, we've gone back to pushing and providing more service because we know we can't beat them on price, and we know that, you know, we're not going to win that war, so we're trying to increase our customer service. And now that Safeway's struggling and got bought out there, they were always known as the most expensive, and we're kind of just behind them, so we're looking more to be just between them and Real Canadian Superstore.
Yeah.
Okay, one time when you get
It was
to the
Sobeys that bought out Safeway, correct?
That's right.
Safeway's been a staple around here for so long.
One on the right side.
Yeah.
Clear all around.
And they offer really good service. Prices are pretty crazy though.
But the prices can be dropped down quite a lot with the Safeway Club membership.
Oh yeah. But they're higher than us.
Before. But they're cheaper than you when you factor in the Safeway Club.
No, but we have our own card, right? That I don't know if they're doing out there. From what we've compared, ours are 10% out here in BC anyway. Across the board, 10 to 15% cheaper always than theirs. You just got to make sure you're comparing our club card as well, price, right?
That actually reminds me, I was using my club card when I did the comparison from Safe-On to Walmart.
Oh yeah.
But it was one of those weeks where I was feeling really sick, and where I was living at that time was, the Save-On was kitty corner across the street pretty much, whereas the Walmart was a 10-minute drive away.
Right side.
I really didn't want to go out and go do groceries in the first place, but I went to Save-On and grabbed it and crapped myself and left and went to Walmart when I saw the receipt. Or when they asked me for the money, but then I'm like, I'm not going to make it to Walmart and back home before getting sick again, so I'll just take it and go.
Yeah, the retail is definitely consumer driven.
There's a Safeway near where my grandma's place is. It's a big, huge seniors facility around there, and there's a big, huge senior community in that entire area. And the Safeway that's there, because it's been bought out by Sobeys, all the employees are being paid by Sobeys and everything, but they can't change their signage or anything in the store yet because lots of the people around there, when they first announced Sobeys, they're like, well, where am I going to get my groceries now?
Yeah.
Sobeys? No.
They haven't decided, I don't think, whether they're going to change the name because they realize how much of an impact that's going to have on people that don't know anything about the new branding.
Yeah. Well, especially with the older generation who's been using Safeway for their entire life, and they're in their 80s and 90s. Like, my grandma's in her 80s, and she's known Safeway her entire life, pretty much. Or at least for a majority of it. When she heard that Sobeys was buying them, she was like, what's Sobeys?
Yeah.
Grandma, think IGA. Yeah, but IGA doesn't exist anymore. Because it got bought by Sobeys.
We still have IGAs out here. A lot of them are getting sold though.
Yeah, they don't exist here anymore. They all changed into Sobeys. Sobeys is just taking over everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm still really wary about the whole Walmart we do tires thing.
Yeah.
I really feel unsettled about having some kid at Walmart changing my tires on my car.
Yikes.
I have to say, the competition has been mighty
A
coordinated.
lot of times you get the same thing going into crappy tire for that too.
Yeah.
I had Costco do mine a few times. They were okay. I pretty much do my own though, get them separate rims.
Yeah. That's what I planned on, but all my, what was going to be winter rims, which were the factory rims on my car, got bent all to shit by the roads here.
Oh yeah. Well, at least one thing for our company, we're the last private company now out in the West, and being BC owned and operated under Jim Pattison, so we try and promote as many local products as we can and buy Canadian first before we go out to importing.
Yeah. Perseus in my screen here is saying IGA was found guilty of selling horse meat and cow meat, and they had to sell the company. I don't know about the cow meat part because, well, every grocery store sells cow meat.
I mean, there really is nothing wrong with horse meat, but you want to know what you're eating.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many PETA organizations that are so against horse being sold as edible.
Cars a lap down ahead of us.
One nice thing, our meat processing plant, Vantage Foods, is right here in Chilliwack, so I've been on a couple of tours through there and can vouch for how secure and tight they are for food safety. So
yeah.
They've got HACCP food inspectors right on site 24/7 monitoring everything.
Yeah.
It's like a hospital in there when you go through the hallways, and it's just clean.
One of my old girlfriends, her dad owned Lilydale Farms.
Oh yeah.
And I got to go through there a couple times just because he needed to go there for something or another, and we went through there to go do whatever she needed to do. I forget by now, this was ages ago. But yeah, it's pretty much you go through a clean room vacuum thing before you can even get into the place. And I also worked at Wild Game Consultants for a while. Oh, I understand. We're selling horse meat as cow meat.
Oh.
Whee! There's number 7. And although I don't think a Miata can go any slower, I still got a slowdown penalty.
Insult to injury, eh?
What's funny though is I didn't bother slowing down, I just hit the accelerator and kept on going, and the slowdown penalty went away. So, definitely a flaw in iRacing's time gain slowdown penalty.
I can find you can sometimes do that if it's not too far along. When you hit a chicane or a hairpin, it'll disappear.
Wave at 'em. They know you're coming.
I'll stay to the right here, Michael.
Stay right.
And Wayne.
I know what you meant.
I was about to cut back, then I realized you were coming up too, so I'm like, okay. Those are getting dirty. How many laps do you figure you have left there, Mark?
It's saying 18.8.
Woohoo, so we're pretty close. I have 17.
Yep.
Kinda funny because you're a lap ahead of me, so you've traveled further, but you have more to go. And the fact that my pedal can't go to 100% all the time, which makes it even stranger yet.
My
Yeah, you
brain
got-
can't cope with that I've gone further, but I've more fuel left. And my brain's exploding.
Yeah.
You've got an automatic fuel save on there, Michelle, even though it's very minor.
Yeah, but that's just it. He has more laps left before he runs out than I do.
Right.
So, it's using more fuel.
Huh.
Well, Michael, another scheduled one, or?
Yeah, this time I just need a bit.
Who needs ABS?
More fun without it.
Actually, especially on the BMW, because it has such good rear traction to begin with. Most of the time I run the BMW with no ABS or traction control.
I gotta run it or I'm too squirrely.
Mind you, on these night courses, I throw a couple more traction control on the BMWs. Well, anything if it has traction control, because the colder track temperatures definitely make it a little slidey.
Those lappers on the way, Earl. 10-4. One on the right side. Clear.
Yes, that's right. Sound effects from the game aren't enough. I have to add my own. I'll stay to the right here.
You.
Right is safer for me anyways. I tend to try tipping over onto my lid when I could take the inside on that corner. Oh, he's still sleeping. Some people think it's really funny, but a lot of people, especially the parents that I've encountered, think that it's a really awesome idea that I have my kid actually trained for a certain whistle. So I can be halfway across a field and do a whistle, and he instantly knows that I'm there and he comes running. But nobody else realizes what happened. And it's to the point now where even if he's sleeping and it's time for him to get up, I can be somewhere else in the apartment, do the whistle, and he'll wake up and come and see me.
Huh.
Or at least ask what I want.
And do you have a dog that has to be nagged?
This is just a dog that talks back. He's a good little monster. I think that's evidenced by the fact that I'm a single dad and I can still do these races and there's no issue.
Ah, very good.
Or sometimes there's a few times, as Darren's probably experienced, where all of a sudden I'll start yelling at the kid for something or another. Of course, since my dad is all on voice activation, everybody gets to hear me yelling at him.
Oh, when you're not feeling well and kids are driving you nuts, sometimes it's, unavoidable.
Well, I guess we mostly lost Kevin and lost Brian and what was that? Another guy that used to be here quite often, Bert, to Jimmy's new league. They're still registered for our league, but they're not attending practices, not attending events anymore.
Any help you can get us there,
They're
Big
posting up a storm in the forums about that league.
Binkley going to be racing tonight?
Never know.
Left side.
Didn't make it sound like, I know he joined up with them, but it didn't sound like he was leaving here, did it?
Oh, he's already made a post in the forum saying that he might not even be attending any more of this league's events next season. He wants to try finishing out this season, but not sure if he will.
Oh, yeah.
And I've noticed that he's been joining every practice and every event that Jimmy's been hosting, so that pretty much tells the story there. Yeah, Perseus, I think everybody wants a cash and prizes league, but that cash and prize has to come from somewhere.
Keep your eye
I
open.
definitely don't have the money to do that.
Going. Left side. Clear all around.
As is, I'm almost considering having to eliminate the broadcasts for next season because just can't afford it. I don't treat my kid like a dog. I just trained him so that right from when he was really little, I always used a whistle to call him when I needed him instead of calling out his name. That way nobody really knows. There's a lot of people where they think if you're out in the park or something like that and you're calling a kid's name, then other people can learn that kid's name and be able to call them and the kid would get confused. Whereas has no qualms about knowing exactly what's going on as soon as I do that one whistle. And it's normally when I'm just arriving at daycare and he's out in the playground or something like that, where I'm coming up into the yard and I don't really see him, so I do a quick whistle and he comes running. And or if I call him when I'm at home and he doesn't respond, but I do that quick little whistle and he responds immediately if he's out of the room and I can't see what he's doing for a while. I still think he's a little lucky bugger. Been in race cars already, he's been in helicopters. Only 4. At 4 years old, he's already been on the racetrack, well, as a passenger, but on the racetrack in a race car, at least during the parade laps and that, where we were doing 80% pace, so had fun. Water running. I think he's up. We'll have to mow their lawn today. Hers getting pretty dirty there, Darren.
Yeah, it's about time for a bit.
Earl, weed him through there. Roger. Left side. Clear.
Well, I suppose I do prizes for the league. I make a custom paint job for... I'm reducing it down to 7 this season, but I do a custom paint job for
Roger.
top in respective categories. Definitely not cash in hand. Not really a show it off to your friends prize, but something. Definitely found since I've been making these camera packs with the normalized sound levels, I can have the volume a lot lower and it doesn't disturb the little guy as much if he's sleeping. And I can have it much lower in general, yet still hear everybody properly so that I can be yakking at him at the
Leader pit road.
Been running the F1s for so long in this that it seems almost funny to hear leaders on pit road when and it's not an F1.
I'm still surprised there wasn't a couple of them in here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be our smallest. Actually, this is our smallest group yet for this series throughout the entire season.
I bet Brands Hatch will be a popular track.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I love that track. I like the full version, but it'll be interesting doing the chicane with the shorter.
Something's a little off here. Okay, I was reading my backwards. Mind.
This was shot.
Wow. I could almost not see through my windshield with the
Little bright.
lights. Yeah, the freshly cleaned headlights were blinding me.
He knows you're coming. Come on, Earl, get him out of there. Clear. Left side. Clear.
Whee!
Sorry, I didn't mean to dive bomb you there.
Oh, I was just getting slidey again.
Can't see.
Eh.
Turn your lights off.
Well, I'm gonna stay right on your tail. Hopefully you'll mess up and then I'll get ahead of you again.
Strategy.
Aren't you with my gas pedal the way it is? Ah, you slowed down.
I missed the gear big time, man.
Wondering why you slowed down there.
I had neutral.
Then they're going, my pedal's not going 100% and I'm catching up. What's going on here? Weird, in my rearview mirror, the profile of the car, of the little Miata, when it's in the dark, looks more like a Supra than a Miata. Look at that corner, apparently. That's where you got me last corner. Oh, and I apparently needed another check, so I'm at 8 incidents now.
I think I hit 6.
Oh, get up to 100. There we go. No, stay there. Blowing up again. Hopefully it doesn't blow my screens out. Oh, where am I going here?
Okay, bye.
Sorry, Dan. Over there, monkey butt. Righty. One more lap.
Earl, weed him through there. Joe.
Oh no, I can do more than that. Damn it, again, I'm getting my liters and laps mixed up. In most cars, the lower number is how many laps you have remaining, and the higher number is how many liters you have remaining. Not it's the opposite. That's too fan. Enough of a breeze. hit over, you goofball. Go on. I think I'm just gonna... Oh, do. Yes, that's the optimal time. The very bottom one is my optimal. Definitely have more than enough time to change all 4 tires when you're getting all your gas. Why did I get a full tank of gas, dumbass? And yes, I did just back up to get around you.
Yeah, like you're going out the supermarket.
I'm fully aware that iRacing allows you to drive through vehicles in the pits. I just cannot bring my brain to do it.
Did you
There's a
look
vehicle in front of me, I will still back up. Make sure that there's enough room to clear and then go. No idea why I took a full tank of fuel. I only needed 17 liters. Yeah, I know I have a lot of fuel now. I have too much fuel. I have more than double what I needed.
Is it how tight the pit boxes are, or why didn't iRacing have that realistic factor? I know it can create a mess, but as far as not being able to drive through cars in the pits.
Just because too many people join and just floor it. Actually, they have their pedal floored before they even hit the join, and it causes a lot of crashes that way. The pit boxes are all in the same size as they are in real life. So.
Yeah, I guess they're digitally scanned. It just would make it a little bit more skill level for pit, when the pit involves in it.
The funny thing about it is I don't know of very many official races that actually require the pit lanes, unless you're damaged.
True.
Like, they've started a little bit closer with the Road Warrior and all that with some of the longer events, but still, that was just recently introduced. And most people doing the Road Warrior are competent enough to be able to do that.
True.
Or at least you believe they are. That being said, I've seen many A-class drivers that drive worse than rookies.
There's some pretty aggressive, impatient people out there.
I think it's more for the oval side than road. Because oval, you generally have like 20, 30 people jumping into the pits all at the same time.
True.
And oval side has enough people bitching about people wrecking and yellow flags going most of the race. That would just cause more. It wouldn't cause a yellow flag, but it would cause more damage and more people getting damaged. Possibly out of the race because of it.
Oop, a little wide.
I think we called last night's race to make it so that everybody got counted, and we finished the race at less than an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
He knows you're coming. Left side, all clear.
I think the 5.2 hour is definitely a candidate to be shortened.
It's tough for a lot of us to make that full thing, or be looking at, you know, even doing the half the race kind of thing.
Yeah, even half the race is still this 2.5 hours. Or if you're in a slower than the fastest car or vehicle,
You're gonna make it somewhere between, or put a vote up for somewhere between that and this race in the middle somewhere?
I'm gonna throw up a vote for five different lengths: a 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5, and 5.5.
Oh yeah.
And then the top three voted for will be the three different lengths.
Yeah, the 5+ is okay if you have, eventually driver swaps.
It was funny last night, Bill, I don't know, I forget his last name, but Bill joined in, fairly new guy to the league, and his goal was to outlast me in the race until, and he mentioned that, and I'm like, are you aware that I'm the crazy fool that's planning on doing a 36-hour straight race on my birthday?
Haha. Bill Fields.
Yes, that's it.
How long did he last the whole race?
No.
Or till you guys, oh.
He lasted 34 laps.
Oh.
We've done, well, I've done 87 laps so far. Mark's probably done 88 or 89 now, so he lasted about a third of what we've done so far. Dwayne and I stopped at less than an hour and a half into the race just to make sure that he'd stay within points contention. Yeah, I am the crazy fool that's planning on a 36-hour race on my birthday. Or at least a 36-hour series of races.
That's just madness.
Yes.
Someone has to tell you.
Oh, I fully admitted it when I made the initial post in our forums about it. It'll be 18 sessions scheduled 2 hours apart on the hour, every 2 hours.
Thanks, Mark.
We'll be using the 18 safest ran tracks from our league events, and using the 23 most popular vehicles in the league as well. All of them will be 5-car multi-class, with 1 car being dropped out and being replaced every event.
He knows you're coming.
Out of the 18 tracks selected and the 23 cars selected, we'll be starting off with the least popular and least safest, so that as the events go on, it gets safer and more popular. So that theoretically, as I start tiring out, there'll be more vehicles on the track to keep me, and it'll be a safer track theoretically, which should make it easier to stay alive through the races. But yeah, it'll be starting my time at 4 in the morning on December 10th, and then continuing for 36 hours straight.
He knows you're on the way.
All of them will be open hosted so that anybody can join.
Nice.
and my thoughts of making them all into 2-hour races are so that people can join in at any point in time, and then they're not obligated for a long time block. They can just jump in for a 2-hour session and jump out back a few hours later.
That gives you good flexibility.
Yeah. And because lots of these races have that overlap of where it doesn't actually end on the hour, like the session is scheduled to end right at 2 o'clock my time. 1 o'clock my, what the? Yeah, 1 o'clock my time. This session isn't a good example because it's a 4-hour time block for a 2.5-hour race. But the 90-minute has the 30-minute qualify and the 90-minute race, so it's an exact 2-hour block for the 2-hour block that's booked, but it generally ends about 10 after. So what I'm doing is I'm booking all of them with the 30-minute qualify and 90-minute race so that it allows time for the race prior to actually end, get the checker, exit, register, and get into the next session before the checker, before the green flag drops for each. But it won't leave very much time in between. So it's not like I'll be able to go and have a break or anything. I'm going to have to be on the ball for every changeover, or else I miss my own event.
Michelle, what did you say again was the time, like what is the time split, the start of the race, or is there a short qualify on each one, or no?
For all of our official races?
No, your birthday one.
Birthday one, it's going to be the exact same as our 90-minute, where it's a 30-minute qualify and...
Oh, okay. So you'll have a bit of time
race
to get into one, take a break, bio break, a little bit of time. Maybe not as much for you because you're setting it up, but...
Well, they'll all be pre-scheduled, but what it is with the race prior ending 10-15 minutes into it, I'll only have a few minutes to get into the session.
Oh, yeah.
It's like our 90-minute Pyrenes race, which theoretically is supposed to end at 8 o'clock my time, according to the session end, because of the grid start, the pace lap, and everything else. It generally ends up being anywhere up to 10 minutes past the hour before the checker flag even comes out, or even the white flag even comes out.
Yeah. What time increments do you have to set races, like start times? How many minutes?
There's only 3 options for hosting races. It's a 2-hour block, 4-hour block, or 6-hour block. But you can set...
when they start though, on the minute, or is it every 15 minutes?
You can have it... you can have your qualifies in 5-minute increments. You can have your practice in 5-minute increments. But the race itself can be right down to the minute how long you want the race to last.
Yeah.
You're coming.
But it's either on a 5 or a 0 for the minute that it starts.
Go right, Michael.
Thank you.
On your left. You're
Hi, Dwayne.
clear.
Yeah, there's only 4 drivers right now. Pretty dead Ridgeback race this week. There was 5. Robbie Morrison was here, but I don't know where he went. We heard his phone go, and then all of a sudden he jumped off the track and muted himself in TeamSpeak, and we haven't seen him since.
The car is a lap down ahead of us. Right
No,
side.
I'm pretty sure
Clear,
Robbie
clear.
Morrison is going to play trains instead of racing here. It is obsessed with trains. Has been for a very, very long time. I finally caved in and got... That's actually the main reason why I got Train Simulator 2014, is just so that he stops bugging me about the trains. He'd rather watch me play the train game, the Train Simulator, than watch a cartoon or something like that.
Oh, I bet he's watching and learning from you and can't wait for the day when he gets on there.
Oh, before I started iRacing, I was doing Euro Truck Simulator, and he was driving all the time. I'd do the pedals and do the shifts.
That's
Ooh,
awesome.
what the heck was that? But he was doing this, like, he even went right down to the point of getting when to signal for lane changes, where you need to go to follow the GPS. So, it was actually pretty cool.
I was playing that the other day and finally got to the point where I was yawning and that my driver was in the game. I hadn't gotten that tired yet.
Yep.
I don't know if he starts swerving, or I haven't seen that, if they start blacking out or if he just pulls over or what he does.
Yeah, when the driver starts getting tired in there, he will start doing the blackout thing, and then it won't swerve, but you won't be able to see where the road is,
Oh yeah.
which will in turn make you swerve. Well, that's you again, wheel damage.
Thank you.
The only other Miata in the class, and I'm just... Oh, there's headlights in behind me. I'm gonna pull over and let him pass. Oh! Yeah, Dwayne, there's no broadcast for us this week, and yeah, football is going. There's a lot of people that are actually at real racing events this weekend as well. Like, I know there's a bunch of them going on around here, so I can see the summer being low participation just because of that. Heck, I've gotten an opportunity to go through a 2-day Marshall course, and I think that's our Brands Hatch weekend in the league. So I'm in a conundrum. Do I not race those races in the league and go for the Marshall course, or? So yeah. But I put up a link there for the multi-twitch, which has Wheel Damage, myself, and Michael Tater, who are all streaming this race right now. You can get 3 different perspectives of this current race, which 75% of the participants are streaming right now. It's actually a good number. That sounds a lot better than saying that there's only 4 people right now. All about the marketing. 75% of our racers were streaming this event live. What makes the Miata a little bit harder to see at night is the fact that it doesn't have any rear window or anything like that, so you can't get the reflection off the back of the vehicle.
Left side. Clear.
BMW has that big huge wing and rear glass, and you can get a bit more reflection off of its fat butt.
Go right, Michael.
Left side. Clear.
Tonight's race should be interesting with the SK Modifieds in the mix.
Yeah, they're a little more challenging to get around.
Pretty challenging to get around the track, let alone get around them on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, in our league forums I put up a thread asking for if anybody's streaming their races regularly to let me know either their Twitch or their YouTube channels and that. And nobody responded.
Nope.
Is that a newer one? Because the last one I saw had Cheesemaker in there or something. That was an old one, though.
Yeah, that was an old one. I put a new one up here when I switched back to Twitch from YouTube
Oh, I don't remember seeing it.
just a few weeks ago. Kinda neat to see the 3 different perspectives of the same race. Early on in season 2, I think we had 8 or 9 people that were regularly streaming their races. So within my actual stream, I had my secondary I had an extra window which was on my secondary monitor, and I had all of the extra streams on there as a multi-twitch that you could watch during you'd watch my stream and see all the other perspectives at the same time.
Ah, cool.
Of course, there was a little bit of a lag for the other ones versus mine, but always on cockpit view when you're racing, Connor. Forget that. Bonehead. When I'm watching it, it's not on cockpit view, but when I'm racing, it's always on cockpit. Whee! Two-wheel. I didn't flip over this time. Yeah, you laughed at me when I rolled over. Mind you, I laughed too because I was kind of surprised that the thing actually rolled over. And it was such a slow motion roll. I'm like, oh, big bounce. Wait a second, I'm going over.
Nobody disappeared on my relative here. Well, sorry,
That
Mark.
doesn't sound good.
I didn't know where you were. Everyone just disappeared on my relative. Ouch.
Your stream was lagging.
Moving.
Your net was lagging.
No,
Why do I
you're
got
on the way.
headlights facing the wrong way here?
Slow cars
That's
in front of you. Left side. Any help you can get us there, big girl? What's going on, boss? Clear, clear.
I had
Clear all around.
a windscreen full of BMW. It made me jump a bit.
Yeah, I tried staying to the inside because I didn't know where you were.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
On my Q line, I've got a little bit of orange.
Quality's dropping a bit.
Yeah. But
The
my
S line is a very big, important one.
my
If
L
this-
is in green.
Yeah,
The
all-
S line, I can barely see it. It's just a little sliver of green.
That means it's getting information from you a little bit out of skew, or out of order. Q is basically packet loss.
Oh yeah, my Q is growing. Big red line now.
Yeah. That's a ton of packet loss. It'll sometimes spike and do that randomly, but if it doesn't start coming back, that's when you gotta worry about possibly being dropped.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I don't think it's anything. I think my wife might be on the iPad, but I don't think she's downloading anything. But I don't know if that really has anything to do with my packet loss, more my provider.
Well, if all of a sudden there's a bunch of data being used, it leaves less for your portion to
Yeah.
be used, and no routers that I know of actually detect iRacing as a priority, so if somebody starts streaming a video, even on YouTube, it'll direct traffic to that over top of iRacing. Unless you went in and manually prioritize iRacing over everything else.
I'd have to start doing that. She doesn't usually download anything other than just maybe an ebook or something, but mostly just surfs the web.
Yeah. Well, even just surfing the web, if there's any video content on a web page, it'll direct your internet over to that versus iRacing. One of the reasons why I set up my router so that my computer is a standalone and it gets priority over everything else, and then if there's any excess bandwidth, then the other anything else on my network can use it.
Yeah, I went and got rid of my Cisco router and just went with the Shaw wireless one. Maybe I should go back to my router.
Well, the wireless one has the ability for it. Are you using wireless for the computer though?
No, I'm wired right in.
Okay.
It's just the laptop and the iPad that are...
Yeah. The router that's built into that Shaw one does have the ability to do the same thing as any other router.
So I should go in and manually configure some stuff with it then.
Yeah. I forget what the port numbers are, but in the iRacing forums you can actually find out all the port numbers that they need.
Thanks, Mark.
Don't.
And then you can prioritize traffic sent through those ports as higher priority, and you can also set certain IP addresses. Like, I set my computer to a static IP address in my own network, so that it always gets the same one regardless. And then I set that one to highest priority, and if there's any excess bandwidth, then other things can use it.
Well, it's settled down now. I don't have any line at all on my queue right now.
Sometimes it's just random internet stuff that'll cause it to skew out for a little bit and then come back.
Yeah, I'm holding at that constant 91 frames per second, so there's nothing going on with the computer that I can tell.
And that's kind of funny because I have mine locked to 91, but I have an extra monitor to monitor my actual frame rate that the video card is outputting. And my video card is outputting 182.6 frames per second right now.
Yeah, it's exactly mine's showing 182.4.
Yeah. But yeah, iRacing is only registering 91.
Yeah, because I locked mine in too.
What I think it might be is we both enabled that double buffer thing, didn't we?
The which?
The two secondary back buffer in the app any.
Oh yeah, right, yep.
So that effectively doubles it, but gives much better quality and a more stable frame rate. Because if it starts lagging for a couple seconds, it'll only be in the buffered stream and not what you're actually looking at. Oh,
right.
Slow down. Damn it. I apparently needed to do another incident check. I'm at 10 now. Never thought to try disabling that double back buffer and see if that drops it.
Well, I'm noticing on my computer or C line, I see that little gray line, and then every once in a while I'll see a tiny little bit of red just flicker for a second. And my P, that's packets, right? It's just a little bit of, or P is...
P is page file.
Oh, page file. It's a very small gray, but it bumps out just a little bit once in a while.
Yeah. I have, my P bar is almost all the way full all the time for gray, but gray doesn't really mean anything. That's just other processes.
Right. You just gotta worry about the red and the yellow, or the orange, whatever it is.
Yeah. My C is about the same width as the letter C, and it never really moves from there.
Yeah, it's pretty... Mine's a little bit wider than the C.
That definitely means that I'm not being CPU limited at all. Now if my C bar was maxed and I'm getting frame rate drops, then it would be CPU limited, not GPU limited, but
Yeah.
with that C being so small, I know it's CPU limited, not CPU. If I ever decided to not stream, that would take some of the load off my GPU and
Right.
allow more for iRacing, but I figure if I can keep pretty much a stable 90-91 frames per second in iRacing, I have no issues. That's in pretty much every track that I've ran on. Even Coda was in the 90s all the time for the most part. It would drop into the 80s once in a while. No, put it in the sink.
You know you're coming.
Might slide out here, there. Okay. Go ahead, Michael.
Left side. Clear all around.
You right there?
Got it. Thanks, Mark. A little more graceful in my last pass.
You're gonna be pinned here probably in about 4 laps.
We also got to remember that not everybody has that C bar in their frame
Oh, do you
rate
have
meter.
to put that in your ini file?
Yep. One of the dev mod things. I've always been of the belief that if my computer is using the page file, I don't have enough RAM. 'Cause that's basically what the computer does, is if it runs out of RAM, it starts using your page file as excess RAM. Lower, but
Those
That way it
lappers
doesn't
on the way
lose
you're
it.
over. In 4.
My older computers, I used to do some things to maximize
Right,
that
Michael?
page file size and everything, but I haven't bothered with this computer.
oh, with Windows 7, it actually does really well at managing the page file size and
Yeah.
consistency on its own. There's actually a lot of tech forums that say it's better to let Windows manage it in Windows 7 and above than to be setting those custom sizes and such.
Yeah, I used to do that in XP and 97.
Yeah.
Put it to 0 or 4. I can't remember what you used to do, and then set it back up so it was not sending so much there.
And definitely a static mount. Why am I getting a blue flag for somebody 20 seconds behind me? Start finish line. Gave me a blue flag for you, Darren. As I was
Not that
crossing that. Yeah. You're not an F1.
Unless they thought you were going to do a scheduled off track.
Yeah. Boink. Well, as odd things may be, we've now done double the length of our Iditarod race last night.
That's interesting, eh?
And we've done more than double our Iditarod race last night, I think. The only reason why I'm thinking of doing like the 0.5 hour increments, like a 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 hour increments for options, is if we tried doing a 2-hour race, I'd have to schedule a 4-hour session.
Right.
Right, hit this time, hit this time. Here we come, fellas.
Mind you, that being said, it's not much different than doing a 2.5-hour race, still having to do a 4-hour session. I might just throw the options up from 90 minutes up in increments of half-hour increments. Take the
Well,
top
definitely
3.
gives people options that can't make it for whatever commitments they have at certain times of the day, and gives them that option.
Especially since, like I was mentioning earlier, though, the Iditarod, I think more than half of the season we've been cutting the races short.
Right.
Just so that people are still counted for the points. So if we're cutting over half of the races short, and why bother having it that long? Even if we cut it down to 3.5 hours, it means I can save myself 75 cents a week.
Yeah.
I don't have to have that 6-hour block scheduled that we're not actually using.
Just find it surprising that people that were, you know, complaining about not having an endurance race or league, and very little comments back on the iRacing forum on it. Maybe they're just whining about it and not serious about it.
That's exactly what it is.
Race
There's
one,
a lot
they
of.
don't know.
We did have a lot of people that were doing that whining, join in, do one race, and then never come again. When they actually had to sit there and do the race, they go, oh yeah, I want longer races, I want longer races. When they actually do the race, they go, oh god, I'm dead.
Well, not only physically, but, you know, and family and everything else going on. It's a big chunk, block of time to be away. Even though you can, you know, take the break, and like I've done, and with my injury still healing up, I can start doing some left foot braking now, but I still got my foot up right now, only right foot. This track, at least you don't need as much trail braking. Or at all, I guess.
Talladega, there was none.
Haha. No.
If you had to touch the brakes in Talladega, you were doing something wrong. Or you were coming in for your pit stop. Which, if you were like Mark there and took the Jetta, you still didn't even need to do that. And maybe I'll throw up a poll in the forum for race lengths in half-hour increments. I still don't like anything shorter than 90 minutes.
No.
I just think it's funny that the forum post that I put up in the official iRacing forums specifically asking what is the shortest length race that you would consider an endurance race. And the highest voted was between 2 and 3 hours, and the second highest was between 3 and 4 hours.
Right.
Yet, we can't get people to come in for most of the races.
Yeah, where are all these people? Well, for me, this length is just about right, time-wise.
Because I'm a crazy lunatic, I still consider it kind of short, but we all know there's other issues going into that one. Tested myself last year on my birthday with a 10-hour bout, and still looking for more races at that point, so. The very tricky part about this year is December 10th falls on a Wednesday.
Oh yeah, midweek.
Yeah, so it'll be Wednesday morning at 4 a.m. for me that I'm starting this 36-hour adventure.
Yeah, with people working and stuff, that'll be interesting.
What's neat about the timing though is I can actually set it if I want it so that our regular league practices are mixed in with that birthday event.
Oh yeah.
Because I always start the league practices on this an hour. So for the 10 to noon one and the 6 till 8 one, I can just throw in league practice sessions instead.
Yeah.
Instead of having the 18 safest, I can have the 15 safest and then 3 of them be the actual league practices.
And they'd still be a 2-hour race though
Yep.
for the practice. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't. Well, yeah, I guess that would be what.
I mean, it's a little longer, but again, they can come and go if they need to, if they don't want to stay the whole 2 hour, and that's the nice part about that time frame is that people can just come and go in whatever
The only
session they
thing
want.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that because our practices are a 60-minute practice, 30-minute qualify, 30-minute race.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to use that as part of the races because that would completely mess up the ability of me, basically forcing me not to be able to take an extended break. Because if it's practice or qualify, there's easily be the time to take a break and you don't lose position, everything. What I'm thinking of doing at the end of it all is actually totaling how many kilometers each person drove altogether.
Right.
Which I'm a stat monger as is, so I'd be able to give safety stats, how many laps and how many kilometers they all drove for everybody that participated, regardless of if they're in the league or not. If I can snag enough money to throw up, like, let's say $25 goes to anybody who can put more kilometers down than I can.
Huh.
I don't think there'll be very many people that can even attempt it, but... Definitely going to be using a bit of streaming bandwidth that week.
Ooh, white flag.
Already?
You're coming.
I
Yep.
guess, yeah. Only 2.5 hours in and we're kind of surprised that we're getting a white flag.
All clear. Good job.
Enough.
I'll go outside.
Not that loud. Now I got the white flag. Nowhere near the start-finish line, but I got it now. Nice you. Easier to the bird. There's me being stupid. Yeah, that was a total fail. There be my checker flag. That means, I believe, with me being the slowest, everybody's crossed the checker now.
Left side. You're clear.
Feel free to do the traditional exploding of the engines.
Good with Darren.
Thank you. Good race out there, Michael. We're pretty even.
Yeah, I had to pit with 10 laps to go because I ran out.
I did some fuel mapping there in my second tank, and then I started falling behind you too much, so I took off the fuel map and did some less ABS.
Check your flag, man.
I think our